Welcome to the video lecture series of the course Computer Organization and Architecture. In previous few classes, we have talked about various components and their operations of the system. And in the next unit, we are going to discuss about micro operations and how these micro operations can be performed or executed by the system, how particular control signals are issued and what are the control steps required to execute any given instruction, that we will discuss in this particular lecture. So, before going in detail of control steps of instruction execution, we need to understand the single bus architecture. We need to remember this architecture of any general computer organization, and with the help of this particular figure or architecture, we can write easily all the control steps required to execute any given instruction. So, here in this architecture, the components PC, MAR, MDR, Y, ALU, Z and these general purpose register, IR and instruction decoder, these components are connected through a common bus system. So, we know what individual components performs. So, let us talk about PC, the program counter, which is generally used to provide address of the instruction which is going to be executed by the processor. MAR, MDR, these two registers are connected with memory. This is for address transfer MAR and this is for data transfer. We can transfer the data and or we can fetch the data from memory through MDR. These are Y and Z registers which are used for operand transfer and for the result storage, and these are ALU registers or system registers. This is your instruction decoder, where we decode the instruction which is fetched through or which is stored in IR, the instruction register. The instruction is decoded here and this instruction must be stored in IR first. These are general purpose registers R0 Rn-1 and this is temporary register. So, programmer can use these registers for their operation. So, these are few components you need to remember always. This is ALU which can perform various arithmetical and logical operations and shift operations. So, generally we perform 4 types of operations, that is read or write operation, or you can say memory fetch and memory store operation, and we can perform arithmetical operations, logical operations and shift operations. Generally we do these type of operations through this particular architecture. So, let us see how the fetch operation is performed. Fetch the contents of memory location pointed to by the PC. So, that means if any instruction is to be fetched and it is decoded. So, what instruction cycle should be there? Here few steps are written. First, we require a data of PC, because only PC will provide the address of instruction. If the data is a type of instruction, so PC will provide the data. So, that means this can be represented as IR equals to the content of PC. See, this double bracket simply shows it is an address. So, this instruction is stored in memory and from where we have to fetch the content, and this instruction will be or this data will be stored in IR, because this particular data is a type of instruction. So, when we are going to fetch instruction, so we need a data transfer operation from particular location that is given in PC, and that data will be transferred to the IR. And meanwhile, when this operation of fetching operation is going on, meanwhile or in parallel to that, we can increment the value of PC if all the instructions are given in a sequence, particular sequence. So, PC equals to PC plus 1 or some offset value, where the next instruction is stored. So, this operation will be performed and then instruction decoding operation will be performed. Once the instruction is fetched, that is decoded in instruction decoder. So, after decoding, if there is some operands are given, so we have to fetch those operands also. The computer or the system will fetch those operands, because these operands are required for particular operation. And after operand fetch, the final execution operation will be performed. So, this way instruction fetch and execution steps will take place. First instructions are fetched and the address is given in PC, and the PC will be incremented by 1 or some offset value, and this instruction will be decoded in instruction decoder, and after that if there is some operands, there is a requirement of some operands, those operands will be fetched and finally execution will take place. Again we need to remember this particular architecture, because through this architecture only we can perform the instruction execution steps or the store or fetch operation. So, this single bus will be utilized to write various control steps for different operations. Let us talk about individually the read operation and write operation. So, reading operation, that means we are going to fetch the content or data from memory. So, one component is memory involved, and this data will be transferred to some register. So, let us see, suppose the address of memory location is given in R1 register. So, R1 is having some address value, that is why it is given or shown in terms of bracket, capital brackets shows it is an address. So, how this operation will be performed? So, we have to provide the address of particular memory location. So, that address will be transferred to MAR. As you can see, the MAR is used to transfer the address, which is connected with the memory through external bus address line. So, this address is transferred first to MAR, and then the read signal will be issued by the control unit, because the operation is fetch the content from memory location whose address is given in R1 register. And as we know the memory transfer is much slower than the register transfer. So, it will take few clock cycles. So, the system will wait for some time during the fetch operation. This fetch or read operation will be performed. So, meanwhile, the wait for signal memory function complete signal will be issued. So, MFC signal means memory function complete. So, during fetch operation this signal will be issued, and after few clock cycle the operation of fetch is performed or over, the data from memory will be transferred to MDR. So, let us go with the previous figure. So, suppose here is your memory, these MAR MDR are connected with the memory. So, MAR will provide an address, and from memory the data corresponding data will be transferred to MDR. So, whatever the data which is to be fetched or to be stored in memory, that will come through MDR only. So, after few clock cycle this fetch operation will be over and the corresponding data will be available with MDR. So, that means the data is available in MDR, and we can transfer this data to particular given register, suppose it is R2. So, what we are doing? We are simply performing R2 equals to content of R1, and the content of R1 is an address. We want to fetch the content from memory location whose address is given R1 register, and that content is transferred to R2. So, this operation we are performing here. Now, let us talk about the store operation. All right, we want to transfer some data to the memory. So, again we need an address. So, address, suppose it is given in R1 register, it is shown in terms of bracket as you can see here. So, this is an address. First we need to transfer the address to MAR. The address is required from where where we can store the content. So, this address is transferred in the first step to MAR. Now, MAR is connected with memory, that address is open, and in next step we can transfer the content. So, that content or data can transfer to the memory through MDR. So, as you can see. So, suppose there is R2 register whose content we want to store in memory. So, this R2 to MDR path will be enabled or on. We have to provide a path from R2 to MDR, and through MDR this data will be transferred to the memory. So, what operation is this? This is write operation. That is why the write signal will be issued. So, first we have to transfer the data from R2 to MDR, and through MDR this data will be stored in or written in memory location whose address is given in MAR, and the write signal will be issued. Again we know the memory operations are much slower than the register operations. So, that is why memory function complete signal will be issued. Wait for memory function complete, actually it is WMFC, or you can consider it as wait for memory function complete. Now, if we want to transfer the content from one register to another register, because it is one type of micro operation, it is again a one type of micro operation. So, how we can perform the transfer of data from one register to another register? How this can be performed? Let us see. Suppose we have to perform this operation. The content of R1, the contents of R1 will be transferred to R4. So, how this can be performed? So, again the same architecture we will use. Now, in this particular case, each component will have two gates, one is input gate and another is output gate. Through input gate, the component will take the data from the bus, or you can see if this input gate is open, there is a path from bus to particular component, suppose it is RI component, and if this particular gate, that is out gate, is open, there will be a path from that component to the bus. So, we have to check what path is available for any data transfer, or we have to provide a path between any two components from where the data transfer will take place, or we want to transfer the data. So, that gates will be opened accordingly. So, in this particular case, the data of R1 will be transferred to R4. So, out of R1 will be opened and in of R1 will be opened, because we have to provide the connection between R1 and R4. Suppose there is a register R1 and there is a register R4. So, how, and these two registers are connected with the bus. So, how this operation will take place? We have to enable the out gate open, we have to open the out gate of R1 and we have to open the in gate of R4. So, if these two gates are open, there will be a path from R1 to R4. Once these two gates are open, automatically the data of R1 will be available with R4. So, this way register transfer will take place. Let us see how arithmetical and logical operations are performed through this unit. Suppose we have to perform R3 equals to R1 plus R2. So, there are three registers involved in this particular operation. So, we have to provide the data of R1 and we have to provide the data of R2, and this addition operation will be performed in the ALU and the result value will be transferred to the R3 back, sorry, in R3 register. So, two operands R1 and R2 are required to perform the addition operation in ALU. So, here you can see one operand can be transferred through bus and another operand can be transferred through Y register and multiplexer to this input pin. So, one register we can connect directly to this pin and another register can be connected through this Y multiplexer to this A pin. So, here in this case, suppose one operand R1 has to be connected to this particular Y register of the ALU, which is the ALU register. So, how this operation will be performed? So, we have to enable the R1 out gate, R1 out gate. So, we have to open the gate out of R1 and the in gate of Y register. This Y in will be open and this R1 out will be open in first step, and the second operand can be transferred through this bus. So, only we need to open the out gate of R2. So, which is open here R2 out, and we have to provide the signal or the command to the ALU, that is addition operation or add command. So, that this ALU will perform addition operation and the result will be stored in Z register, because the register can only be transferred through this Z register. So, we have to enable or we have to open this gate Z in gate of Z register. So, in second step we write simply R2 out add Z in. Now, the result is available with Z register, where we have to transfer this result. We have to transfer this result from Z to R3. So, what which gates are to be opened? The out gate of Z should be open and the in gate of R3 should also be open. Then only there will be a path from Z to R3. So, this way we can perform the addition operation of between two registers and can transfer the data to the R3 register. So, here we need to understand what is the role of these input and output gates. So, these gates are basically used to provide a connection or path between two components. Once the gate is open, there will be a path, and the gate is closed, there will be no path, there will be a no connection. So, we need to understand in and out gate operation in this particular architecture. Let us see about the timing signal of or timing diagram of this operation or fetch operation. This is very simple. So, in fetch what we have done, we have provided the address first from R1 to MAR and given the read signal or issued the read signal. Then we have provided the data. The fetch operation will take place, the fetching of data from memory, and that data will be transferred to MDR, will be fetched. After fetching, the data will be available with MDR register, and accordingly WMFC signal will be issued, and after that operation MFC or MFC signal, the data of MDR will be transferred to R2 register. So, in first case the address value will be transferred, R1 out should be enabled and MAR in should be enabled or should be open, and read signal as we have done in previous PPT. Next WMFC and MDR in, because the fetch operation is going on and the input gate of MDR should be open, then only the data of memory will be transferred or the fetch operation will take place. So, how this can be represented in terms of timing cycle? So, here you can see these are various steps, and this is the clock pulse, and you can see the first step shows R1 to MAR in, means data in terms of address is transferred to MAR. So, once MAR signal is on, the signal is high. Once the data is available with MAR or address is available with MAR, the signal is high immediately, and corresponding to that the address will be transferred. And in the first step, read signal will also be high immediately, or in parallel to that MAR, the read signal will be issued. This signal is high, and memory is going to perform some operation, reading operation. We are going to perform, or the system is going to perform reading operation. So, you can see memory read operation is going to be performed. So, after that, once this read signal is down, the memory read operation is high, the read operation is going on or fetching operation is going on, and in parallel to that MDR will be high. This gate should be enabled or open immediately, then only the data from memory to MDR will be transferred. So, MDR will be high in this case. Now, you can see after some clock cycle or few steps, as we know the memory fetch operation or memory data transfer operation is much slower, it will take few clock cycles. After few clock cycles the data is available with MDR, and memory function complete immediately is high, means once the memory transfer operation is over, the memory function complete signal will be enabled, and after some time or immediately we can transfer the data from MDR to particular register, that is R2. So, MDR out will be enabled. MDR out is enabled when we receive the memory function complete. Once we receive the memory function complete, means data is fetched completely and it is available with MDR, then we can transfer the data from MDR to R2. So, this way we can understand the timing diagram of this operation or fetch operation. We can also draw the timing signal diagram for write operation in same way. Let us we do control steps for particular instruction execution. This is a very simple instruction. We have to perform the addition of two operands. One operand is given in R1 register, another operand is given in R3. Another operand is given in some location whose address is given in R3. The location is of memory. So, second operand is given in memory and we have to fetch that operand, and this address operand of that address is given in R3. So, what are the necessary steps? We have to fetch the instruction first and then we have to fetch the operand, because this is given in memory, and then we execute or addition operation we will perform, and finally, the result will be stored in R1. So, again the same architecture will be used. So, what components will be utilized to perform this operation or this instruction execution? Obviously, the instruction fetch step is first. So, PC will be required, because PC will provide the address of this instruction. You can see the steps. So, first the address is given by the PC. So, PC out gate will be opened, and where this address will be transferred? This will be transferred in MAR, because the MAR register is connected with memory where the instruction is stored. So, we are going to perform instruction fetch operation in first three steps. So, MAR in will be enabled, and what is that operation? This is read operation, reading the instruction or reading the data from memory, and we have to perform clear Y register set carry in add Z in Y, because once the operation of fetching is going on, in parallel to that we have to increment the PC value equals to PC plus 1 or some offset value. So, that offset we have to provide or will be given in instruction part of the register. So, as we know in this case one operand will be transferred through a bus into the ALU, and another operand can be transferred through Y register. So, we have to perform PC equals to PC plus 1. So, once the PC out is enabled, so this PC out is enabled, the data of PC is available with this particular input B. Once PC out gate is opened, this data is available through a bus to this particular input gate or input of this ALU. And another operation is operand is Y operand, which should be clear, which should be 0. So, 0 will be passed through this particular input, and what we do? We can set the carry equals to 1, because we are going to perform PC equals to PC plus 1. So, we have to set this carry. So, that is why C in equals to 1 in this case, and we perform add operation in the ALU, and the result will be stored in Z. So, Z in will be opened. In second step, Z out and PC in should be connected. Z register and PC register should be connected. These two registers can be connected through this way. So, Z out value will be transferred to PC back. So, how? Z out gate should be open and PC in gate should be opened. So, there will be a path from Z to PC through this way. So, Z out PC in, because this value is updated here. In the first step this value is updated, and this Y in, PC in, Y in and WMFC. So, I do not think Y in is required in this case, but you can write here, and WMFC the wait for memory function complete, because reading operation is going on, and once the WMFC is enabled, the fetch operation is completed, the data is available with MDR. So, MDR is the instruction data. So, that will be transferred to IR register. Now, instruction will be decoded and there is a requirement of another operand. So, that operand will also be fetched. So, address is given in R3, address is given in R3. So, R3 out, MAR in and read operation. In same way, we will perform the operation of fetch from the memory location whose address is given R3, and in meanwhile or in parallel to that we can transfer the second operand to the Y register here. The second operand is given in R1. So, R1 can be transferred through Y register to ALU. So, that is why R1 out and Y in, these two gates are opened and WMFC signal memory function complete. Now, the data is available with MDR that can be connected to the B pin of or the second input of ALU. So, MDR out should be enabled or should be opened and we can perform add and the result will be available with Z register, Z in. So, after that we can transfer this data to R1 register, Z out and R1 in, and finally, we will write the end signal. So, this way we can perform the instruction execution of R1 equals to R1 plus R3. Next is branching operation. So, first three steps are very similar to the previous example of instruction execution, only we need to check the branching, what type of branching we are going to perform. There are two types of branching, conditional and unconditional. In case of unconditional, we have to write this step, we simply jump onto the particular location without any condition. So, that value is given in offset field of IR out. So, we simply add that value with the PC and we jump onto the particular location. In case of branching, we are jumping, and in case of conditional branching, we have to check the condition first. So, if it is negative branching, then we have to check the flag value, and if this value is okay, then only we can perform the addition operation, otherwise we can end here. So, this way we can write the control statements for branching operation and the control steps for instruction execution. That is all about this particular lecture. Thank you.